On the surface, the Pomodoro technique is working intensely on a task for 25 minutes, followed by a 5-minute break. It may seem overly simple, and maybe it is, but it's also extremely powerful. In this video, I'll explain the details of the method as well as why it's so powerful and how it has helped me to multiply my productivity. By the way, I post 5 days a week on topics such as self-improvement, productivity, and time management, like this video. If you're interested in that sort of thing, please consider subscribing to receive more content like this. We've all had moments of intense focus where we feel like we're making incredible progress or learning at 5 times speed. The challenge is recreating that environment that gave us that incredible productivity. That is exactly what the Pomodoro technique attempts to do. Created by Francesco Cirillo, the guidelines are simple. Step 1 is to look at your list of tasks and choose a single task that you're going to work on for the entire period. Next, you're going to set a 25-minute timer and you're going to commit to an intense focus on that task for the entire 25 minutes. Once that time is up, you take a 5-minute break. Now, there are some other guidelines that you should remember while you're doing this process. One guideline that's very important is to avoid distraction. The whole point is that you have a complete focus for the entire 25 minutes. One way to do that is to put your phone on Do Not Disturb or airplane mode so that you are not distracted by anything going on with your phone or notifications while you're working. Another challenge is if someone approaches you during your Pomodoro. So when this happens, you should follow the technique of inform, negotiate, call back. So what that means is first you tell the person, hey, I'm in the middle of something, can I get back with you? Then you negotiate by saying, can I come talk to you in about 20 minutes when I'm done with this? And then call back, which is essentially just go talk to them during your break to let them know that you haven't forgotten what they need. And the third way to avoid distraction is to have a piece of paper next to you while you're doing this. And when something comes up that is just your natural want to distract yourself, you want to go check Reddit or Facebook, or you need to check your email or something like that, you just write that down on that piece of paper so that at the end of your Pomodoro during your 5-minute break, you can review those things and decide what you want to do in your break time. So now you've completed your 25 minutes of work and you're on your break. Something that you should do is separate yourself from the work. It's important to actually take a break. Now, that's not to say that you always have to take a break. If you find that you're really in the flow of things and 25 minutes comes around and you're just hammering it out, you don't have to take the break. I would recommend, if you're going to be doing a full day of intense work, those breaks really help you to keep from burning out and wearing yourself out throughout the day. But if you're doing like 2 hours of work and you're really in the flow of things after that first session, you can definitely keep working. This is a system to help you to be productive. Don't let it control you. So once you've taken your 5-minute break, you set the timer for 25 minutes again, you choose a singular task to work on, and you do the whole cycle again. Once you've done 4 cycles, you take a longer break to really rejuvenate and rest, go get a coffee or something like that. Make that break 15 to 30 minutes. It kind of varies person to person, but once you start doing this, you'll realize what your optimal break time is. So why does this work? It's really just partitioning your focus, right? Well, not exactly. The way this is designed, it is extremely effective at bypassing your tendency to procrastinate and get distracted. Here's why. Firstly, this technique reframes the way your work is done from being output focused to being input focused. So instead of looking out ahead and saying, I need to finish my dissertation, you're looking right now and saying, I need to write for 25 minutes. Instead of saying, I need to do spring cleaning over the entire house, you're saying, I need to clean in the kitchen for 25 minutes. This breaks your work up into bite-sized chunks that keeps you from feeling overwhelmed. It also gives you tasks that are guaranteed to succeed. Instead of saying, I need to clean out the oven before I take the kids to daycare, you're saying, I need to clean the oven for 25 minutes. You're going to succeed at that. That reminds me of something I forgot to mention. When you finish your 25-minute task, you should put a check mark on a piece of paper and write down just a few words of what you were working on. What that's going to do is give you gratification for that work you just completed and reinforce the behavior of doing your 25-minute Pomodoros. The second way that the Pomodoro technique is really effective is that it externalizes the discipline necessary to set the amount of time you're going to focus by using a timer. So instead of having to sit down and just really use your own discipline and grit to keep working, you have this timer that lets you know when it's time to stop, and you don't have to think about that. So I've talked about in videos before about avoiding the choices that you fail to make. And what that means is identify the weaknesses that you have when you have to make a decision and find a way to avoid those decisions. And that's what the Pomodoro Technique is doing here. It's taking the decision of keep working, keep working, keep working that you have to do incessantly when you're in focused work, and it takes that out. It gives that to the timer and says, this timer is going to let me know when it's time to stop working. Until then, I don't have to make that choice. I'm focused until the timer goes off. And lastly, there's that piece of paper that you write your distractions on. So I don't know about you, but when I work, I'll be in the middle of something and 5 minutes in, I'm like, oh, I should check Reddit and see if anybody's replied to that post. Or, oh, let me check my email and see if anybody needs anything. And I do this constantly. So what that piece of paper does is it allows me to say, I don't need to do that right now because I can just set a reminder and I can do that later. Rather than thinking, oh, this just popped into my head, what if I forget? I better go do it right now. I can just do it later after the Pomodoro. I am naturally a procrastinator, and I've tried a lot of different techniques to get rid of this tendency to just put things off. Nothing really worked until I found this technique. So I use this technique when I'm making these videos in the mornings. The Pomodoro Technique timing is perfect for research, writing, setup, shooting, and editing. So I can do those 5 things in sequence using the Pomodoro Technique, and it really eliminates all of that time in between where I would mess around or check Facebook or check email. I can still do those things, but I have a located time to do those things, so they're not just constantly seeping into my workflow. And that's going to wrap it up for today. I do want to mention that I'm working on a Pomodoro timer that will be on YouTube that will allow you to just hit play and it'll do the timing for you for an entire set of 4 sessions. It's not quite done yet, but it should be done in the next couple days, and it'll be built into a playlist with this video. So if you are watching this in the first couple days, come back and check that out once it's done. That's where I'm going to wrap it up. If you liked this video, hit that like button. If you're new here and you like what I'm doing, hit that subscribe button, and leave your comments below with any questions you have, or if you're using the Pomodoro method, how it's helped you to be more productive. Have a great day.